Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of Two Shot Tuesday. We are delighted and thrilled to have one of our all-time favorite contributors to the podcast, the one and only Alex Riebel. And if you're joining us for the first time, you're not going to soon forget this episode because Alex is here to share some horror stories from the third-party collection floor. Al, you have literally scared the bejesus out of not only myself and Jason, but to our listeners, terrified us with some of the stories. I can only imagine what you have for us. Welcome back. Great to see you.
How the hell do you think I feel?
Yeah,
I've lived it.
What did the mug say? What did the mug say? Let's see.
What am I doing out of bed?
Nice. Classic
it.
dad mug.
It keeps it cold. Barry, you were there with me during these stories, so let's not start off this YouTube thing by you denying you were there.
Well, I was there for some of them, but not for many. I'm sorry. I forgot I blew right past the co-host, Jason Riley. What am I thinking? Jay, welcome back for another week.
Class act.
Thank you very much for
I'm
putting
excited
this all
to
together,
be
my
here.
friend.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that people are going to want to go back and check out the back catalog available in audio only of our collection's horror stories. Oh, it's so exciting to have you here. And now we're going to get to see the sweat on Barry's brow as you sort of dig free these memories that he's long forgotten. Yeah.
Let me remind you a little something, Barry. Let me remind you a little something, okay? Let's not pretend.
All right, let's start by lubricating. We got to start by lubricating because there's a format on the show. Yeah. 2 shots, no more, no less. Barry, what are you coming in with?
Well, I just finished a workout, so this is a sober show, a rare occurrence here on the broadcast. But yes, I will just be having a shot of my post-workout shake, which is a peanut butter chocolate whey protein, a little creatine thrown in there, some milk. Oh, it's gorgeous. Al, what about you? What do you
bourbon?
Yeah,
I got that. Hey, listen, I got clear 2.0 Sleeman's. It goes down smooth, ice cold, beautiful.
Sounds great. Jay?
I got something way better than you got too, Barry. I'm going to keep us a little bit more alcoholic with classic Jameson. I got a shot of that.
Lovely. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
To you and yours.
All right, let's get right to the heart of this thing. Alex, you have spent many months unearthing even further stories from the archives of your mind. Why don't you just dive right in and take us on a journey, my friend?
The memories come at night. Thanks. Anyways, look, this is I got to tell you a story about one guy we hired. I'll never forget this guy. And it came to me one night, cold sweats, and I just thought, you know what, I got to bring this one up. We've had a lot of stories, but this one's a little crazy. Okay, we had this really big dude start with us in the collection agency years ago. Barry, you were there. Name was Jerome, I believe. We'll call him Jerome. A new employee, really big guy, looked like Mark Henry. You know that WWE wrestler, the big guy, really strong guy, Mark Henry. That's what he looked like. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Huge guy, really nice, soft-spoken. However, you know what I mean. So he was good to go. He started missing work randomly, and as you know, for a new employee, that spells termination, right? You miss some work in the beginning. So he came in one morning. We told him to take his things. He's terminated because of ongoing attendance issues. Okay. We took him to the room. There were 2 of us, but outside we had about 5 guys waiting. We didn't know what could happen if this guy went nuts, right? But everything went fine. Okay. He went to his desk, grabbed his backpack, and he left. He was okay. He was gracious.
This is not a horror story, but
not yet. Well, he makes his way to the bus stop across the street. Okay. And there's a number of people there. Okay. One was an elderly lady that worked with us. She was going home. And another was a young man dressed nicely. He started with us that same day, okay? Just fresh out of high school, his first job. Okay, he was also at the bus stop. So this guy's standing at the bus stop, right? He lowers his pants to his ankles and starts taking a piss on a tree right beside the bus stop in front of all these people. He's taking a piss on the tree, right? And right there beside the terminal, okay? So the old lady screams at him and starts freaking out, saying, "What the hell are you doing? That's disgusting." And Jerome totally ignores her, okay? Then he puts his back against this big tree and he bends down and he starts taking a dump. You knew it was coming, okay? But you knew it was coming.
Is he doing this because he was fired, or was this like a regular pattern for Jerome?
We don't know. We can speculate, but maybe it made him a little nuts that he got fired. A few others were there, and they all took off in horror. The old lady that worked with us, she screams. She says, "I'm calling the cops, you sicko!" And she runs across the street, runs back to the office, right? And then this little guy's left here, the young kid. He stayed there stunned, frozen, like he didn't know what to do, right? So Jerome finishes, right? He leaves a mound of crap on the ground. Okay, he pulls his pants back up and he says to the young kid, "You're going to need to bury that turd. The cops are coming. Cops are coming. You need to hide that shit right now. I don't want to go to jail or some shit." So the kid's scared shitless. This guy Tower, he doesn't know what to do, right? He gets on his knees and proceeds to dig a hole with his hands into the soil.
The
No.
He
kid.
looked like a goddamn golden retriever burying a bone. You know what I mean?
The
He digs
this is Jerome's digging this or the kid?
the kid.
Kid.
Jerome
My God.
told him, "You dig the hole." Jerome told him, "You dig the hole. You got to bury my shit right now."
This sounds like something like out of the mafia. It's like, you're going to dig the hole because I killed the guy.
Yeah.
What
I
is
got no
going
lime.
on?
I got no lime. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he stood up when he was done. He buried the turd. He dusts off his knees. He looks around. Jerome's gone. Okay. So back at the office, that's where we were, Barry. That's where you and I were.
I don't
Together.
recall
Were you
being there.
together?
No, again, I wasn't there, but Alex.
Barry
yeah.
Barry was probably filling out various forms because he's very organized that way.
Yeah, no, I was taking a dump at the other bus stop.
Nice, of course. All right,
Well,
so
the
you're
old
back at
lady
the
came-
office.
Yeah, the old lady came back. She ran in, went right to HR, and they called the cops, right? Because this behavior breaks two laws, apparently, according to HR. Indecent penile exposure and urination contravention is what it's called. It's a technical term. I don't want to bore you with all this stuff. But he broke two laws, okay? Both carry heavy fines, maybe some time behind bars. And so there we were, Barry. And the cops arrived. Sorry, Barry, I thought you buzzed
wasn't
the
there,
minute.
but-
Okay. I thought you might have buzzed the minute.
You say. Yeah, yeah, totally.
After hours. But yeah, anyways, they told us to complain to the cops, and we gave them the information on Jerome. As far as I know, he was arrested soon after. We never saw Jerome or the young kid again, the young junior who just started with us. I mean, imagine that's your first day, and this is what happens, right?
It's
Imagine.
incredible. The fact that he was forced to bury another man's turd this is something like almost unbelievable that he would be forced to do that. But if this guy was as big as you say, I guess the younger, smaller guy was probably thinking, well, if I don't, what's he going to do to me? He's probably just going to eat me or something.
He's going to make me.
Yeah.
He's going to make you.
Funny thing is, just to somebody, where that turd was buried. I took a drive by there. It was over in Markham, right? Where that turd was buried all this time later is now a 5-foot sunflower. Basking in the sunlight,
That's
a
kinda
symbol
nice.
of an event that occurred many, many moons ago that changed many lives forevermore.
Nice. I wonder if
That's
the
kind
kid
of
goes
a
back.
sweet ending.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, it's kind of a sweet ending.
it is. I wonder if the
We'll
kid
take a
ever
trip
goes
there.
back and visits.
We'll take a trip there, Barry. We'll take a trip there one day.
I would love to. Maybe it'll refresh my memory since I was standing right beside you when this whole thing went down.
The whole time. So Al, what
you
would
with
be the moral of this story if you had to dig deep and find one for us?
Hats off to the kid. You do as you're told.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sound advice.
Very sound.
advice.
I think after that, it's probably time for our second shot, AJ, and then we can move on to more. Al, that was horrifying, but a story that was worth telling. And the fact that there's a 5-foot sunflower growing out of that disgusting turd is kind of a nice way to wrap up the story.
Yeah. And that
All
Barry was there for all of it. I think that's also
Well, that's-
important to help document.
That's the matzo ball. That's the
That
matzo ball right there.
really is.
This guy. This
Okay,
guy.
let's have our second shot. Al, why do you start us off, brother?
There we go. Let's go. I'm just going to start out by drinking.
Okay.
Nice.
Jay?
I've got another classic Jameson shot here ready to go. Barry?
Beautiful. And I'm going to have the last sip of my post-workout shake. Here's to you guys. Cheers.
And you. Cheers.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. That is good stuff. Okay, so we have had some good outdoor stories. It's never really a collection horror story without defecation and the burying of said turd. But Al, I know you've got something else because I've heard these stories before and you always just keep digging deeper and deeper below the surface to bring out true horrific facts for our listeners and our viewers.
We lived it. You can talk to Barry anytime you want, Barry, anytime he's there. We lived it, right?
Yeah.
And this one, Barry, you cannot deny. You cannot deny that you were there with this one, okay?
Okay, simmer down there, Al. I was not there, but that's okay. You can, if it's more fun, maybe this next one, maybe I was there because we did work together for a good 7 years.
Yeah.
Well, look, back in the day, way back in the day, departments within collections, they could trade collectors, okay? So each department could get staff to fit their own needs, right? So they could trade collectors, juniors, seniors. So way back, I took over this one department, and there was this very senior collector working there. We'll call him Chadwick, okay?
Chadwick.
This guy had been working there for 25 years, right
Whoa.
since the damn doors opened. Okay. This guy was really old, heavyset guy, but he didn't do shit. Okay. Every
Sounds
day
like
he'd sit down.
Chadwick.
Yeah, he'd sit down, log on, and he'd fall asleep at his desk for many hours, right? Most of the day, in fact. Okay. So he was sitting right in front at the front desk so that whenever anybody opened the door to enter the big office, they'd see him sitting there with his mouth open, breathing. You know what I mean? So
Of course.
that's a problem. So the VP, we'll call him JP, like J. Peterman, JP, you know?
Yeah.
JP, he asked me one day, he said, look, can you move Chadwick somewhere else for now? Because just not by the front door. We have some big clients coming in today, and the last we want to see, we want them to see is this bastard sleeping at his desk, mouth open, his breath stinks like bourbon. Okay, just move him somewhere else, anywhere else. So we moved him. Okay, and as a new manager of this department, I want to make sure everyone's doing what they should, right? Making their outbound call targets and things like that. So around 3 p.m. one day, I pull his call totals. I pulled the call totals for everyone in the system, and back then it would come out on paper, right? So
and you would read them out back then.
Yeah,
you did
them out. Yeah.
Yeah, read them out loud, so that way people would be embarrassed when they were the last guy who would only make 20 calls, right? That was the whole purpose of it. You'd read them out loud as a motivational tool.
Or hand them out, right?
And what was the line you had, like tears on the floor? Is that it? Yeah, tears. You wanted tears on the floor.
With back in collection day, we would be asked to fire someone randomly out loud so that they would cry and it would create a stir on the floor, right? Make people work harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No?
It's a classic sweatshop model is what it is.
It sure is. Okay, we're back to, what is it, JP? No, yes, JP was the
Chadwick.
Boss. Chadwick.
Yes. So his call total was quite low. Now, this is a story I was there for, Al. So.
Okay, you were.
Yeah, I was there for this one. Finally.
Lo and behold, the truth comes out. Listen, everyone made about 100 to 120 calls by 3 p.m. Chadwick was at 2. Okay, 2 calls for the day.
Nice, Chadwick.
Right? So I have this piece of paper. It says 2 calls. I circle it in red marker and I leave it on his desk so he could see it. Well, he woke up out of his nap and he looked at the paper. He immediately stood up and walked right over to JP's office, right? And I could see them both talking in there with the glass walls, right? Minutes later, JP comes out, walks to my desk, and he put his foot up on my desk. Right? This is how we would communicate with you. And you remember this, Barry. He'd come over to your desk and put his foot in your desk.
Really?
So it was like crotch is right in your eye level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
and you could feel the heat coming off his bollocks. It was very, very unpleasant.
Sniffing.
I think I've seen that movie. But anyway, that's another story. Carry on.
He says to me, look, he goes, we know Chadwick's useless. The guy's been here 25 years. If we fire him now, we're going to pay this guy too much, okay? It's way too much to even consider. So just move him to a corner and leave him alone. Don't even talk to him. Leave him be. We're just waiting for him to die. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is what the VP says to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Okay,
no
so
kidding.
We did just that. Well, this is a collection world, okay? So we did just that. No respect for the elders, right?
No kidding. What happened? So you just section Chadwick off. He's making no calls. You do not ever humiliate him again in public?
Never even talk to him. He said, don't talk to him. Let him do what he wants. If he sleeps all day, we don't give a damn. We're waiting for him to die.
Yeah. I believe that the end of this is he eventually was laid off, right, Al? If I recall correctly.
Well,
they eventually got to a point where they were like, okay, it's time to lay off Chadwick again.
Chadwick. Watch out, call Chadwick.
Colleen? No.
With cause. Like, you can't even let Chadwick go with cause? It still was too expensive.
Yeah, it's because when you're an elderly man, 25 years in the company, you're screwed.
You're screwed. Yeah.
Even to this day, it's even worse, right? You can't do that, right?
Okay.
So anyways, we moved to the corner. And a while later, okay, here's what happened. A brand new manager started with the company. Well-dressed young man, fresh out of university, suit and tie every day. And he inherited this government portfolio, a government department, right? And he needed a good senior experienced collector on his portfolio, right? So one time I see him in the elevator and he asked me, he goes, listen, you've been here a while. I need a really good senior collector. The client has requested this. And in exchange, I have a couple of really good, smart juniors that we just hired. I'll trade them both for a good senior collector, okay? Because I need this.
Mm-hmm. So I said, look, word here is good.
Yeah.
Now, you might not have heard that, Al, but continue.
Well, I said, look, I got this guy, been here over 20 years, knows the business inside and out, most experienced collector in the damn company. Too good for my department. But you know what? You're new here. I respect you. I'll trade those 2 juniors for the senior collector. We'll make it work. It's what's best for the organization, okay?
Okay.
And he was so grateful. He's like, man, that's amazing. I owe you big time. Should I meet with this guy first and maybe make sure he wants it? I said, no. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And the next day, Chadwick reported to his new department, okay? And around 11 a.m., I look over, I glance across the collection floor, and I could see Chadwick sleeping at his desk, head back, snoring, mouth open with bourbon on his breath. And that new manager made eye contact with me. And he gave me the nastiest look. I never spoke to again after that. It's the greatest trade in collection history.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, to equate that for those viewers and listeners who are familiar with sports, this was like John Cordick getting traded for Russ Courtnall way back in the day, a 1-for-1. Alex, you somehow were able to swindle this guy, and no wonder he couldn't, he gave you the stink eyes because he knew that he'd been duped.
He'd been had.
Flat out.
Wow.
He'd been had. Two
Amazing.
smart young juniors for a guy who's sleeping with bourbon on his breath, farting at his desk. God.
You made it happen. And I can say, Barry, I have no idea who either of those two people were that you mentioned.
Good.
Yeah. So who are they? Just so I know. Let's equate that for our listeners that don't know sports.
The former Maple Leafs from the 90s. John Cordick later hung himself, and Russ Courtnall had a pretty decent career.
Okay.
Playing not for us, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it was one of those deals that went down in history as the most lopsided of all. But now Alex, I think he's
topped it.
He's either topped it or definitely met it in terms of a lopsided deal that solved your problem, Al. It created another one for the new guy. And that's only right. That's how it is in third party.
So it was.
Yeah.
That's how it is. You were there.
Yeah.
Each
Amazing.
one of these, Al, each one of these just gets more and more depraved after the other. And I can't help but think, the common thread through it all is Barry was present at every single one of these collections.
Who we are.
Yeah.
It made us who we are.
It really did. It helped shape you both, which I truly appreciate, I have to say. Once again, you have just graced us with a couple of just stories that are going to force us to go take a shower afterwards, get out of the shower, maybe defecate by a bus stop, just so we can appreciate what happened in that story, and then go shower again. I think that's fair.
You, before this, you put this out there. Tell your listeners, viewer and smeller discretion is advised.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right.
That is wise.
Where can we find you when you're not gracing us on Two Shot Tuesday? Anything you want to plug for our listeners and viewers?
Look up Almania TV. Almania TV, no spaces. Almania TV. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be entertained. It's mostly MMA right now, branching out into sports, a sports network. It's funny. It's rude. The funny thing is, 99% of my listeners are male, and I'm trying to change that a little bit. We're trying to branch out. I don't know why that is, but
because you're ignoring 50% of the population now. That's a lot of potential listeners you could be picking up.
The female population isn't interested in taking the cripe by the tree.
I mean,
we'll see. We'll just see. We'll see what happens after this episode, if that doesn't just spike on yours. Thank you. Yeah, check it out. We are going to be back here next week. We've got the movie guy, Rob Peets, coming back next week. Barry and I are going to be both seeing separately Fantastic Four First Steps on the weekend. Are you happen to check out Fantastic Four, Al? Are you a movie guy?
I'm interested in that one. That should be good. Should be good. Have you guys covered Superman already?
We
yes,
did.
We have.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fresh out on the pods, actually.
Beautiful.
So thank you again, Al. Always a pleasure. Collections Horror Stories, some of our best consumed episodes, I have to say. People just like the punishment, and they love coming back for more. They love to hear from you. Barry, always a pleasure to talk to you. And listeners, viewers, audience, we love you. We look forward to seeing you next week.
And we apologize.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you for listening to Two Shot Tuesday. The show is produced by Barry and I and edited by me. If you have yet to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, please take a second to do so now. It helps us grow, and it helps new audiences to find the show. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Shot Tuesday and on Twitter at Two Shot Tuesday Podcast. Stop by, give us a follow, leave us a comment, and share your favorite episodes. If you have a question you'd like featured on the show, you can send us a text at 647-486-4848. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.